I'm Turk Strawman at Thank you for selecting this video on more about the Nobody's Perfect excuse. Before I continue, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, do it now. If you haven't activated this channel's notification bell feature yet, do it now. If you haven't given this video a thumb up yet, do it now, because you're probably going to forget later. Comment courteously below. More on the Nobody's Perfect excuse. You may notice that there is a video here. This, at this point, is going to be the immediately previous upload to this one. The thumbnail says, the Nobody's Perfect excuse. And I think that's what the name of it is, too. Well, if you look at that video, or if you already have, you may need some more convincing about this whole thing. So let's talk about it a little further. I'm not sure where this thing, Nobody's Perfect, came from. But it does seem to get used as a cover one's own ass for making a mistake thing whenever somebody else notices the mistake. Especially then. You know, it seems to come out. I mean, when else do we talk about Nobody's Perfect? It doesn't come up. Really. Not in my culture. Nobody's perfect. Seems to only come up after a mistake gets made and somebody else has some smart-ass thing to say about it. Well, nobody's perfect. Or, you know, it's kind of like the cover your ass thing. Like some covering of ass has to happen. But it doesn't. So where did this come from? Let's see if where it came from makes any sense. Maybe we can get some sense out of it and how it's supposed to work for us as a cover one's ass thing. Maybe we can get some sense out of it if we look at where it came from. Well, I don't know where it came from. I don't know the history of it for sure. But I do have my best guess at it. And my best guess is that it roots in the idea that with respect to whether anybody's perfect, there are two classes of humanoids on this planet. The one class has only one, the one set has only one member. And we'll never have another. And the other set, the membership is packed full of everybody else. Now, that one member over there in the one class is Jesus. Jesus the Christ, Jesus of Nazareth, the Nazarene, the little baby in the manger at Christmas. That one was perfect. And no other one is, or ever can be. Ever was, ever is, ever can be, never will be. Never was, is not. It's a big not. Nobody's perfect. Except Jesus. Nobody's perfect. Compared to what? Jesus. Well, let's see if that makes any sense. Let's see if we can make any sense out of that. All right, let's take a look at Jesus and the idea of perfect. Jesus was perfect, being also God. Well, okay. Let's just be reasonable about this. What makes sense? Well, that implies that, this idea of Jesus was perfect would have to apply to his entire life since the day he was born. Otherwise, it's not all perfect, right? Not an all perfect being. So, when Jesus took his first baby step, was it wobbly like everybody else's first baby step? Was it a little uncertain? Was it imperfect? Well, what would a perfect first baby step look like? I don't know. Would it even be a baby step? Was Jesus' first step, like just normal walking? Went from not being able to walk at all to walking across the room, perfect strides. Did Jesus walk out of the womb? At what point? I hope you get my point here, my drift. Okay, so let's say that Jesus' first baby step was wobbly. But it was perfectly wobbly. But no other baby's first step that's wobbly is perfect. It's always an imperfect wobble, whereas Jesus was a perfect wobble. I don't know what the heck this means. It doesn't make sense yet. So let's try another way. Let's take Jesus as an adult, walking through the desert, walking through the wilderness, walking up the mountain, walking through the town. Well, let's just take any one of his steps as an adult, okay? No more wobbly baby steps. Let's just get that out of the picture here, because that led to a lot of trouble just now, right? So, all right, an adult step. Everything about Jesus is perfect, right? Can't have an imperfection. Okay, so each step is perfect. Yeah. All right, let's just isolate one step. One step. Jesus as a 25-year-old man. Go step. Let's say it was on the main street in, I don't know, Bethlehem. Goes over to Bethlehem. Did that a couple times during his life. So let's say he's going down the main street. And he takes a step. All right, that one. Okay. Is it the case, then, that nobody else ever, none of us mere mortals could be in that same spot and take a step like Jesus did, just like it, executed in the same manner, quality-wise? Can't happen. Well, that doesn't make sense either, does it? That just can't be right. So what the heck does this whole thing mean? I don't know. So again, I suggest that if you're interested in your own self-improvement, you better get this whole idea out of your head. Not that there's some right answer to it or wrong answer to it, or no matter if it's correct, incorrect, just get rid of all that. It's a comparison that does not need to be made. That was the point of the last video. Get rid of the thing out of your vocabulary. Get rid of the idea out of your head. It's not doing you any good. It might be doing you some harm. And it doesn't make sense. This is not a question over whether somebody is perfect or not. It doesn't matter. Just get the whole question out of your head. Because it's getting in the way. If it ever pops up, it's in the way. There you go. It's just in the way. It's nonsense. That's all. Liked the video? Thumb up. Didn't like it? Thumb up. Hated it? Thumb up. I don't care. Subscribe, get notified. Comment courteously. Here's what's important. I'm Terstraman at Thranki Ramataraka. Go forth and multiply your perfect acts.